right, good evening, everybody. Today I'm going to be doing combining like fractions. So let's start with number 17. Okay, I'm going to be doing the odds today. We got negative 5 over 6 plus negative 5 over 6. We know as long as our bottom denominators are the same, we can simply go ahead and combine our top terms. We have a negative and a negative. Well, our rule is for addition and subtraction, if our two signs are the same that we're combining, we're going to simply add the numbers together. So this is going to be negative 10 over 6. And those of you that my question is, just think about this. If I owed $5, okay, or if I owed 5 out of 6 pieces of pizza to somebody, and then I had another 5 out of 6 pieces of pizza that I borrowed from them, I would have to go ahead and pay them back 10 out of 6 pieces of pizza, right? So basically what we're talking about, if we reduce this, is going to be negative 5 out of 3. So those of you that are still questioning this, you're right. Remember, this is an improper fraction. We need to put it in simplest form. So we know our answer has to be negative. And we know that 5 goes into 3, or 3 goes into 5 one time, right? So this is really a division problem. 5 divided by 3. So it goes into it one time, and then there's 2 left over, right? So if there's 2 left over, we have to put 1 over here, and we realize that's going to be 20. How many times does 3 go into 20? Well, we could say 6 times, right? Because that would be 18. And then we see that we have 2 coming up again. So that is just going to go ahead and leave us with 6 repeating. So if I was going to go ahead and do this, I could say it was negative 1, let's see, and then we've got 1 and 6 repeating. As I told you, when you have a number that's repeating, okay, remember there's a decimal point here, what do? Well, we put a 9 underneath it, right? We're making it into a fraction. And now we reduce, and that's going to be 2/3. We see how that works? Okay? So that would be negative 1 and 2/3. And that makes sense because look, if you see over here, 3 goes into 5 one time, and then there's 2 left over, right? So that all shows us that negative 1 and 2/3 is the correct answer. All right, I'm going to work a little quicker with these next ones. Number 19, we got 5 minus 3. 8, the denominator is the same, so 5 minus 3 is 2. And 8 stays the same. Putting in simplest form, though, we know that we can divide both of these by 2. That makes 1 over 4. And we're done with that one. Let's go to number 21. We've got 18 at the bottom, so we know the denominator will be 18. Now we got 15 minus 13. Well, that is 12. That is 2. And of course, we can divide both of those by 2, which will give us 1 over 9 as our answer. Let's go and try number 23. It says add, write in simplest form. Well, we're just adding 3 numbers together that are fractions this time. So remember that bottom denominator is always going to stay the same as long as all of my denominators are the same. Now we're just adding. We're adding 81 plus 47 and following PEMDAS. Addition goes reading to the right, so we'll do it to the right. And we'll just make sure I get the right answer here by using my calculator. And we see we have 81. Sorry about that. Looks like our vice principal is making his announcements. We have 81, and we're going to add that to 47, and then we're going to add that to 19. And that's going to equal 147. So we can put 147 over here. And if we were to reduce this, we can see that 100 goes into 147 one time. So we have 1 over 47 over 100. And that would be our answer. Let's go to number 25. A recipe for Michigan blueberry pancakes calls for 3/4 cup flour, 1/4 cup of milk, and 1/4 cup of blueberries. How much more flour is needed than milk? How much more flour is needed than milk? Well, let's see. We had how much flour? 3/4 flour, 3/4. And how much milk did we have? 1/4 cup of milk. And it says how much more, so we know that we're going to be subtracting, right? Because we're looking for the difference. And since both of them have 4 as a denominator, 4 will stay our denominator, and 3 minus 1 equals 2, leaving us 2 over 4, and both of that can, the numerator and denominator can be reduced by dividing it by 2, which gives us 1/2. In simplest form, we have 1/2 cup, right? 1/2 cup more. And that will be our answer. And I believe all the evens are you to do. So have a good night, good luck, and see you tomorrow.